What's up, guys? How's it going? Today, I'm just gonna talk about just how I feel about the game in general right now. Um, yeah, just this is kind of more of a chill video, and yeah, I guess let's get right to it. Um, I feel like the game right now is in a very meh spot, and um, it can totally be like a million times better. I think Bungie knows that. Um, they have moments where they show that they like care, but I just think like sometimes it's just total they're just brain dead, and um I don't know. Um, looking as of recording this on September 4th, 2025, they put out an article yesterday talking about sandbox tuning preview for Ash and Iron, and in general, I like a lot of the stuff they put in here. It gives me, I feel like PvP will be in a better spot after this upcoming patch, which is good. Um, I do think there's kind of a problem that Bungie does. Well, there's a lot, but um, yeah, I feel like there's kind of just this big problem that Bungie likes to do this thing where they'll make a change or they'll add something new, and um, they don't care about the experience of whoever dies to it or whoever dies to this thing. And obviously, I'm talking about Crucible here. If you didn't know that, this is a Crucible channel. Anyways, they kind of don't care about how you die to something. They just look at numbers on a paper or just data from wherever they get their data from. Um, and that's kind of all that matters to them, which is good. It's good to look at that. Um, I also think that the real picture and just sort of the eye test when you play the game matters a lot as well. And I just don't think Bungie cares that much about it, and that's tough because looking at these changes, like I'll give you an example. They're wanting to buff lightweight shotguns, and they're playtesting additional changes to buff aggressive frames as well. Like, we all know aggressive frames aren't that good. They're fun. We all know they're not that good. That's good. They're buffing lightweights. I think that's a good idea. Um, it's just on paper, or what we have now, just having what is it? Oh, I'm forgetting the frame of shotgun that's like the Matador and the Deadlock of precision frame shotguns. Like, who would have thought that on paper, just having one frame of shotguns clearly better than the other ones because of their pellet spread. Who would have thought that'd be a good idea just to have one that's really good. That's clearly an outlier because of the pellet spread. And shocker, that's really the only frame we use right now. You can use aggressive frames. They're not terrible, but precision frames are clearly better, and it's just frustrating because not everyone wants to keep using precision frames their entire span of playing this game. Then that's just I just feel like Bungie looks at something and they make a solid change, and they call it a day instead of, they clearly have the ability to make a better one and they just choose not to. So yeah. That being said, I do like this weapon tuning preview. I think in general it's good. They're nerfing spread shot hand cannons. I would have liked to see them nerf the damage on those. I think that's kind of their really big, their big selling point in Crucible. Increasing their pellet spread is good. You are gonna notice that. I like that. Yeah. I also wanted to point out sidearms. They said they're nerfing the range on forgiveness by 15, which is slightly noticeable, but the big problem with two burst sidearms in general is their forgiveness. Forgiveness, the name of the sidearm. Anyways, the big issue with them is how forgiving they are. The second you step into close range with a sidearm or a burst fire sidearm, you have zero chance. No, unless if you're using one yourself or maybe you have a slug shotgun. Other than that, you have zero chance, or I guess a spread shot hand cannon as well. But the point is, if you just have like your regular run-of-the-mill primary weapon, like a pulse rifle, auto rifle, hand cannon, you're not gonna win that gunfight no matter how hard you try, and that's bad. That is very bad. Um, I think Bungie needs to look into. There's a bunch of points in the game where um, you're at a serious disadvantage because of your loadout, and your skill cannot overcome that no matter how hard you try. That is a big issue, and you see it a lot more, and you kind of just see it a lot in this game. In close quarters, that happens a lot, like with SMGs. SMGs are alright. You see it a lot with sidearms, definitely with sidearms. Slugs versus pellets, like if you have, what is it? A really good pellet shotgun user versus a slug shotgun user, and they're both equally good with their own respective weapons. The slug user is gonna dominate every single time, no matter how hard the pellet user may try. That's not good. That needs to be. That just can't happen. I think slugs need a bit of a range nerf, or buff pellet frame or pellet shotguns across the board. Yeah. Also, I think the matchmaking and just how the portal shows the Crucible is also really terrible. Um, because I like the idea of the portal. I like it. And there's the opportunity to put 6 game modes into the Crucible portal. And as of me looking at it right now on September 4th, there's only 4 in here. But if you go to the World tab, you're going to see that they have 3 more game modes, being Rift, Rumble, and Relic right now. Why not just put Rumble in there and maybe put Rift or Relic in there as well and scrap one of them? But just why would you make these Crucible game modes being Rift, Rumble, and Relic that you have to go to the World tab for? You have to go out of your way, which 90% of people are going to be just going to the portal and picking whatever. Why wouldn't you just move those to the portal and scrap the Crucible tab? Because it's pretty empty in the World tab. Why wouldn't you just scrap it there and move it to the portal? It just gets more publicity and just more eyes on those playlists. I just don't get that. I don't. Yeah, that's another thing. The matchmaking still isn't that good. They've tweaked it a lot. I'll give them credit for that. But like over time, it's like control isn't terribly sweaty, but you still notice it sometimes. Like me being at the top of the skill chart. I don't mean to flex, but in general, I'm a pretty good player. This season I have, where is it? There we go. I have a 3.26 KDA in this current season, which I'd like to think I'm a pretty good player. So I have the ability to comment on this. Just the matchmaking, it feels very meh. It's just mid. And Bungie knows, just change it to connection. It's not that hard. And we're back to a way better spot across the board. The game feels 10 times less serious, and you can just use whatever the frick you want. And I just don't get, like, Bungie knows that the game PvP just was better across the board when we just had connection instead of this really weird version of skill-based, which isn't terrible. It's not bad. They've definitely worked on it. And the first iteration of SBMM in this game compared to now, you can definitely tell a difference. That being said, just connection-based is just so much better. It's not even close. Yeah. I don't know. They also said that they're just removing deterministic recoil, and I think that was a good move. I do not know why they did that in the first place. Like, I never really even noticed it. Us Destiny players, like, we don't care about it that much. Like, fun and chaotic moments in Crucible is really what we care about, and that's kind of all that matters. No one's going to take the time to learn how to shoot their rows if it has 100 stability and 100 range. They just don't need to. Yeah. ending sort of conclusion here. The game's very mid across the board. It's just Bungie has these moments where they don't care about how the person dies to it. They just care about sort of the numbers. I don't know. That's really a really bad way to word it. I'll give you an example here again. I think Lightning Surge is just terrible to play against. The whole teleport thing and the boost of momentum you get out of it, and what is it? The damage you take from it, it's still pretty hefty. They said they nerfed it, but it still feels pretty hefty. And being a hunter, there's straight up nothing I can do about it. When a warlock pops it, and I have them cornered, and they just pop it out of nowhere, and I lose half my health in the blink of an eye, and I can't even see them because they're straight up teleporting on the ground. I know you could say, like, oh, you know, that's kind of the same thing as Mask of Baccaris, but, like, a warlock doesn't have to sacrifice an exotic slot in order to do that, and they can do it. They can spam that shit. So, yeah. I think Lightning Surge need to be looked at. That Weave Walk thing in for Warlock Strand as well. It's just, it delays the gunfights, and it's not fun. I get the idea for PvE, just maybe half the damage resistance you get from it in PvP, or I don't even think it should be an ability in the game, period. I think it's very broken. Yeah. 2 more things right there. Also, I think Titan shoulder charges have way too much forgiveness. I was playing the other day, and I was straight up around a corner, and I got sniped by a shoulder charge. That's just not good. I made the counterplay in order to go around this wall, and I still got killed by a shoulder charge. That shouldn't be happening. Yeah. Another thing, I think Titan melees, they should give you an advantage in Crucible, or in close quarters combat, but not make you win your battles because you're on Titan. And I think that Bungie really needs to figure that out, because as a hunter, when I just enter into a melee battle with a Titan and I don't have shotgun ammo, or like sometimes I do have shotgun ammo, and there's times where I just lose because of some shitty ability that Titans only have, and I do everything right on my end, and I just die because they're a Titan. That's not good. That's just not good. They shouldn't be, because they're on Titan, that should not be a get out of jail free card. That's just not how it should work. They should have an advantage in close quarters combat because they're on Titan, but it shouldn't be the end all be all, which currently it feels that way. So, yeah. Alright, that's enough rambling and complaining. I do think PvP, like I said, PvP will be in a better spot after this upcoming update, this Ashen Iron on, September 9th. I think it'll be in a better spot, but it could be so much better, and Bungie can definitely get it there. They've done it before. It's just, do they want to? I don't know. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys all later. Peace out.